Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a successful weekend, got all your honeydews done, uh, got rested, ready for the work week. One of the things that I'm often amazed at is how hard things can be sometimes, how much work they are, um, and how much extra it takes to be successful. I know a lot of people think that, people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, naturally talented, it comes easy to them. But, there's a saying out there that it's nice to be talented, right? The saying kind of goes, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And the reality is, how many times do we see that there's someone out there working hard, they're not quite getting anywhere, or there's somebody out there that's achieved phenomenal success, and we wonder how they got there. At the end of the day, the reality is quite simple, that everything that you do for success usually takes more than you think. To really reach the heights, the pinnacle of where your game is on and your success is enormous, usually takes a lot longer than we had hoped for. And when we get there, it being finally arrived was much more work than we had anticipated. And all of that said, it doesn't make the success any less, but it's just interesting to me how often people don't quite get to the success because they stop. And it would be interesting to see from life's point of view where things really would have been successful for a lot of people when they finally decided to quit, or those that continued to go and continued to move forward and continued to hustle and continued to grind to the point that people thought they were insane for doing it. There's the story of when Jeff Bezos was wanting to be valedictorian, and somebody in his class said, well, once Jeff decided to do that, everybody knew they were competing for second place. And that was at an early age, but even as a valedictorian of his high school, it still took him a lot of years to get to where he is now. And granted, he is phenomenally successful. Michael Jordan was phenomenally successful, but he wasn't so successful in high school. In fact, he wasn't considered the greatest of all time in his graduating class. That took years of perfecting his class or his game, shooting hoop all summer long, getting ready for the next go-round, right? I mean, there's examples all through business. Mary Barra, who became the top CEO of General Motors, it took her 33 years to climb that ladder. She started out working for the company inspecting parts in a plant. But 33 years of hard work, she absolutely climbed to the pinnacle of General Motors. And some people go, well, I don't know that I would do it. But most people work for 40 years, 50 years anyway. Why not do it? It just comes down to, what are you going to put away? How much effort are you really going to string together day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year to really get there? The story goes that Mark Cuban didn't take a vacation for the first 7 years of his first business. 7 years with no vacation. Now, I don't know if he didn't take weekends off. 7 years with no vacation. That's a lot of dedication to putting a company together. Now, obviously, we can see that he's been phenomenally successful. And if he applies that work ethic to every single thing he does, we can understand that that's going to be a really strong case as to why Mark Cuban succeeds at most things he does. But I would bet that if you really looked at it and really followed through, the successful people are successful at most things they do because they work at it longer and harder than most ordinary people do, right? They show up day after day, week after week, month after month, right? I mean, everybody looks at it. Look at the Williams sisters, right? Venus and Serena. They're some of the best in the world at tennis. They've also practiced probably longer and harder than most in the world have thought about. And now you see that they are at the top of their game and have remained there for a long time because of the effort that they put in every single day, every single week, every single month. How many of us do that with our careers? How many of us do that with our passions? How many of us do that with our relationships? How many of us put the kind of effort in there that it really truly demands in order for us to be that kind of successful? I mean, the reality is at the end of the day, if we looked at it, how many of us quit a month before things were really going to get going for us? How many of us stopped right before things were going to get better? How many of us realized that it's just not worth it and turned back so close to where things were really going to go? You know, when you look at all that it really truly does take, there's a lot of sacrifice in success, a lot of sacrifice in success. But I guarantee you, there's no more sacrifice in success than there is in failure. Because you may be giving up some time at home, you may be giving up some television, you may be giving up some vacations, you may be giving up some friendships, you may be giving up some Friday night poker games to be successful, but to be a failure, you're giving up your dreams. You're giving up your wants. You're giving up on you. You're settling for something that you know isn't your best. You're taking into consideration the effort that would have to go into it, and you're taking the easy route. And inside, you're knowingly shorting yourself. You're knowingly pulling one over on yourself. So look at your week and look at it this way and ask yourself, am I giving myself every opportunity to succeed? Am I doing all of the work that's necessary for the duration of time that's necessary to actually get to the place where I am successful? Those are simple questions, right? Those are pretty easy to come up with because you know you better than anybody knows you. And you know if you're putting in the work and if you're putting it in consistently. Not blaming it on the CEOs not paying attention, or I wish my boss would get out of my way so I could get to where I'm supposed to go, right? But really putting in the dedication and the work to perfect your craft to get to the place where you can be incredibly successful at everything you do because you're incredibly tenacious. You're incredibly dedicated. And you're doing everything there that you possibly can to ensure your success. So go out there, have a great week, hit Monday hard, and make sure that you're doing everything you can do to make sure that you succeed at everything you do. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Have a great Monday.